the hell are you doing? Oh, well, I was getting to the end of the day and didn't have enough protein, so thought I'd just down a bit of this. What is up, YouTube? Today I thought it would be fun if we go through the top 3 beginner mistakes that I've seen or that I myself did as a beginner. So these are going to be in order of the least bad beginner mistakes to something that's more prevalent in my opinion, which is at number 1. Now, if you've ever been a beginner before, which I haven't because I was born, in fact in the womb I was lifting weights, so I was practically an advanced lifter right after I came out of the womb. You ever been a beginner, it's not your fault if you made any of these mistakes, because a lot of the time when you're a beginner lifter, you got in there just because you saw a motivational quote one day, or you decided to just start lifting on a whim. So it's totally not your fault if you made any of these mistakes. But what I'm trying to do with this video is not only to help people who aren't beginner lifters anymore and might still be making these mistakes, but as we get out of quarantine, and maybe if you have a home gym, these can still be applicable. But as we go through into the summer and gyms start actually opening, I'm hoping that some of these tips can help any people out that are just starting to lift again. Or if you're in a place where gyms are already open, which I am severely jealous about, by the way, then I'm hoping these tips can be helpful in that way as well. So without further ado, let's get into number 3. Okay, so at number 3, we have lifting too heavy on lifts that you shouldn't be lifting too heavy on. So I totally get it, okay? When you're first going to the gym and you're just in that monkey mode, you're angry, you get really hyped for that first real adrenaline rush that you get when you go to the gym for the first couple times, which I still get sometimes. You just really want to just lift some weight. I mean, you just want to smack some chickens, am I right? So I can totally understand how when you're first going to the gym, you just really want to lift heavy. You see all these other people that are more advanced, in their intermediate stage, and they're lifting really heavy a lot of the time. But the important thing to know is that you're a beginner, okay? The point of going to the gym as a beginner is not to lift heavy. You're there to really practice your form, get to know the lifts, get to know how it feels to lift. You really want to fall in love with the sport during this stage. So lifting heavy when you haven't practiced the form at all is only going to increase the chance that you're going to hurt yourself and really delay you being able to go to the gym for a long time in the first place. Because if you start off going to the gym and in the first couple days you decide to max out, see what your 1 rep max is on a bench press, when you haven't even learned the form yet, you can really run the risks of just destroying one part of your body while you're doing that. I mean, you could destroy your shoulders. If you drop the bar on yourself, like on your neck, that's really bad. So the important thing to know is when you're first starting out going to the gym, you really need to start practicing your form and getting to know what it feels like to lift in the first place. And I promise you, you might think, oh, what are these other people? Are they gonna judge me at the gym because I'm lifting this puny weight? I can tell you 100% sincerely, we do not care, like us more intermediate and advanced lifters, if you're not lifting that much weight when you're first beginning out. We know you're a beginner, okay? We do not care if you're not lifting that much weight. In fact, it's the exact opposite. We're actually admiring you for coming to the gym in the first place. So if you're starting out in the gym, do not feel like you need to go heavy on anything. You're really here to practice the form, start to love the movements, and get to really enjoy the gym in the first place. So with that being said, let's get into number 2. Okay, so the second mistake that I see a lot of beginners make is they completely ignore the recovery part of going to the gym in the first place. Now, if we look at what you're actually doing when you're going to the gym, you're straining your muscles and then forcing them to, as you are not at the gym, realize that they need to rebuild and grow stronger than they were before. So if you think about it as in like a biological standpoint, when you go to the gym, you're essentially telling your body that if you are going to be able to get more food and survive, you're going to need to have stronger muscles and be able to lift more weight to be able to do that. The recovery part is actually just as important as going to the gym itself. I'll see a lot of beginners, they're completely ignoring the recovery part of the whole process. So they're not getting a good sleep, they're not eating right. Maybe they don't have any rest days. So that's number 2. Beginners are not giving a good emphasis on the recovery part outside of the gym. And at number 1, and in my opinion, one of the worst cases of a beginner mistake is they'll do a good job in the gym, they're excited, but they completely ignore the whole nutrition and diet part of going to the gym. The nutrition and diet part is just as important as the gym itself. If you're not eating right or not eating good quality whole foods outside of the gym, it's gonna reflect in your actual workout and how you feel throughout the day as well. I'm not saying that you need to completely cut out unhealthy foods in the first place, because if you completely cut those out, you're not going to be able to stick to a consistent diet plan in the first place. But what I am saying is try to pay a little bit more attention to what you're eating. So say you are going to the gym at 10 o'clock or after breakfast. Say you have like a sugary cereal for breakfast. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a sugary cereal once in a while, but you have to think about what that sugary cereal is gonna do. Now, all you're pretty much having is some grain and sugar. So that's gonna spike your insulin, and you're gonna feel really energetic for maybe like 10 to 30 minutes. But when you actually go into the gym to do your workout, your blood sugar levels are gonna drop eventually because your insulin is now spiked, and you're gonna feel like shit. So that sucks. I mean, obviously. If you're not paying attention to what you're eating before, after, and just throughout the day, you're not gonna have a good workout. Try and figure out what foods make you feel good. So personally, I think quality whole foods in most situations, like vegetables, fruits, stuff that's minimally processed. Now, there is definitely processed things that are actually really good for you. Like non-fat Greek yogurt would be considered processed because it takes a process to get the fat out of it and stuff, but it's actually incredible for you because not only is it really filling because it doesn't have any fat, but it's also really high in protein and it tastes really good even though it doesn't have any fat. So just because it's processed doesn't mean it's bad. But you want to find the foods that you enjoy eating and that are gonna make you feel good so that you can have the best quality workouts in the gym. So that is the number 1 worst thing that I think beginners do, is they completely ignore the whole diet part of going to the gym. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up the video. I hope that you learned something from this. I just want you to know, we're all beginners at some point. I made all of these mistakes when I started out, and just because you're making them now, or if you feel bad that you're making them, doesn't mean you can't change. You can totally take the advice from this video, and then try and change yourself for the better going forward. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.